Did you know that gardening reduces stress, anxiety, and depression, especially in women? That's what they say. We're going to be talking about this today with Nicole Peters, a health guru, entrepreneur, and she's here with me. Let's get into it.
And I'm not saying that there's not a place for modern medicine, but certain things that we go through, we should be able to heal ourselves. We should only really go to the doctor if you need like surgery. Or am I going to do something about my situation and my family? You know what I mean? The prices are going high. To get a little bit of collard greens cost you an arm and a leg. And I could just grow them in my backyard.
My God.
So this year I was like, I'm expanding.
Hello friends, so Nikki's here, and as I promised you, we're going to be talking about how gardening can reduce anxiety, stress, and depression, and how just the times that we're in is calling us to go back to that. And I just been having a conversation with Nikki, and I was just so impressed, and I felt so bad that I really need to go back to learning the basics of gardening. Nikki, welcome to Disapora Mommy.
Thank you for having me. I'm so humble. Thank you. Thank you.
It is such a pleasure to have Nikki. She's a multimedia professional here in Washington, D.C., but she's also an entrepreneur and she's into gardening. And I said, wow, that's a combination of a lot, but she's going to help us. We're going to ask her a few questions about gardening and how it can really be helpful. How long have you been doing it?
Well, I started as a kid, but it was by force. I mean to say it was by force. I didn't like it as a child because it was forced. But as an adult, there was this connection with the earth that just came upon me. And I guess it started when I became a vegan and not wanting to eat anything that was genetically modified. And I've been knowing about genetic modifications for a long time, but it's just now just hitting the mainstream.
People, yeah.
Right. So I wanted to create my own food where I know everything was organic. The seeds that I get are organic. There's no pesticides. And I will tell you, the food tastes so different without pesticides. Now, I know that people wash it off and everything, but no.
It's inside.
It's inside. You can taste it. So by doing my own garden, oh my God, the beauty of just eating good food.
Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing.
Doing it, by the way.
I've been doing about 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
When you started, what was the aim? Was it because some people do it for food, as you said? Some people do it for exercise. Some people do it for the mental health part. What was your main goal?
Well, you actually get both. Okay. Like, it was more like, it's calming. It's, you're getting your hands in the dirt and you're focused on, increasing the health of your family. It's a soothness. It doesn't seem like a chore. You know what I'm saying?
They say Earth has energy.
It does. Oh my God.
That's what you mean then?
Yes, it does. It has a lot of energy. It has this absorbing quality. But once you get into farming, you will realize that the things that your body needs is the thing that the plant needs. So a lot of people say, oh, I don't have a green thumb. You don't need a green thumb, honey, because you need water.
Okay.
You need sun.
Okay.
You need air.
I can get
to
that.
breathe.
Right. So true.
And you need food. So the plants need food. You feed them, right? Because the soil is, it doesn't have, the soil that we have here is not really, it doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it. So when you're buying soil from the store, you have to infuse fertilizers and stuff into it.
Okay.
Right? And that is it. But each plant has its own characteristics on maybe the frequency of it.
Okay.
Some don't like the too much sun. Okay, some like the shade. Yes. Some like a lot of sun. So during different seasons, we grow different things.
Okay.
And
so I guess we're not just going to be talking about the fact that it reduces all these bad things in us that causes depression, anxiety, and just stress, but what kind of basic knowledge do you need to start? Because a lot of people have anxiety about even gardening itself.
I know because I did. Like my first couple of years, it was some things worked out and some things did not. Because the knowledge, right? I couldn't remember
what you did as a kid.
What we did as a kid, right? So I have my favorite YouTubers, that I followed, and I said, okay, I'm going to get the seasons right, because I couldn't remember, because right now in the grocery stores, everything is there all year round.
True.
You don't even know what is seasonal and what is not.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, you see blueberries 24/7.
True.
You see strawberries.
So you don't know, is it a spring thing or is it a summer thing? Yeah, you're right.
But
Basic
when we was
knowledge.
kids, we ate according to season. So we knew that, pumpkin is more like a fall crop, or, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and things of that nature. But now you see it all year round.
Okay, so you started by
So I
learning
had
the
to get
season.
right. I had to get the seasons together.
Okay, season 101. Learn the seasons first.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, like, say it's springtime.
Okay.
Right. Now is the time to put the seeds in.
Any seeds?
No.
Most of them?
No.
Okay.
No, not anyone.
Flowers, potatoes,
No.
chicken.
And so all the greeneries.
Okay.
They love it. They don't like hot, humid.
Okay.
They like it cool, right?
Okay.
So you're talking about your spinaches, your kale, your collard greens, all your greenery, your lettuces. They love it in the cool seasons. Your blueberries, your strawberries.
Okay.
You can plant your potatoes,
Okay.
your sweet potatoes,
Okay.
your onions, your spices.
So all those seeds can go in now.
Yes.
Okay.
Now's the time to plant. And that's what I've been doing.
So that's how you start. Okay.
That's what I've been starting since December, growing my seedlings indoors to transplant them outside.
Okay, so you're a little bit of a pro, it sounds like.
I'm not. Trust me, this is my first year.
Okay, so what do you have in your house? Do you
I
have
have
pots around, and then you plant them and then you bring them out?
I had a seedling tray. It's really big. It's maybe like 5 tiers.
Okay.
And I was just, and this is the first year that I can say, wow, I know exactly what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Right? Last year I had some hiccups, because I started too late.
Okay.
Right? So, some of my greens was like, it was too hot. It was, I don't know if we're gonna make it.
You're right. They're really just like humans.
They are.
They have feelings.
So once you listen to them, but you gotta really, I'm not saying you gotta be there and study them every second, but you look at them and you say, oh, maybe you need a shade cloth. Maybe this humid is too much. Okay. And then you know that our weather has been pretty much off.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
this makes no sense.
Yeah, even my fall crops, it was like winter, just right after the summer, it was like cold.
Yeah.
So it didn't make it. So it's like, wow. So yeah, but...
So it's physically demanding. That's another reason why people don't do it. Like you just say, how much time can you allocate? I mean, you're a media professional. You have other things. You have your husband and all of that. How much time do you think that a beginner would anticipate to be spending in their garden, especially in the springtime now?
Well, it depends on what they start with. Like for me, I started with a one raised bed.
Okay.
I would recommend probably starting with one raised bed, which is good. And you can plant different varieties within that bed. You don't have to have 5 or 6, or 7 beds. You can do variety planting. And I did that this year as well.
You mean that the roots doesn't go everywhere? They just go in a small area?
Well, the thing is, if they're vine, they're going to go.
Okay.
So vines I conceal in a pot.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like bags, like those little planting bags. If they're vine, I'm going to put them in a bag because they'll run all over your yard. And you won't be able to control it. Wow. Like mint.
Okay.
Or like,
that's true.
I'm serious.
I had some mint there at some point and they were just everywhere.
I'm serious.
And they keep coming every year?
They do.
Okay.
You can't get rid of it. It's like one of those things. So I conceal them in bags. I wouldn't put them in a raised bed. Okay. So only thing like this year I had sweet peas, I had onions, I had lettuce, I have beets. So I have a lot of different things in just this one bed. And I have some marigold flowers to attract the bees. So it's my first year doing this.
Oh, wow.
Okay. and I like it. So
Wow. So it seems like you had a 3-year span where you were learning, you had a learning curve, and now you're really getting the gist of it, what the plants need, what you need, and things like that.
I do, but I would also recommend beginners. Like I started with hydroponics. Hydroponics is a hydration. It's basically like the plants grow in water, right? And they have the fertilizer that you'll feed them like every time you water it.
Okay.
And they really grow. And I think it's a good starting point actually for beginners to see the plant because they're right in your house.
Okay.
I have like 5 or 6 of them in a row. And it's nice because you can just go over and get your spices. You can go over and get your lettuce.
I get them when they're already done.
Yeah.
And then when they die, I just go get another one.
They won't, like if they die, they won't.
They won't. They
Only
just,
way they would die if you don't give it water.
True.
It has a light.
Yeah. That's true.
And if you don't give it fertilizer.
Okay.
Now,
but they'll keep coming.
They will keep coming. If you give it everything that you need, they will not die.
Okay. I think I just used a lot at the same time.
I would guarantee. Yeah.
Pluck all the mint or the basil, and I just keep plucking and putting it in my pasta.
But you know what I did? I got rosemary. I got oregano.
did plant a plant we call in Burundi lenga lenga, and I'll show some of it, lenga lenga. But I got lazy and I just.
That's the thing. And you also asked about the energy that comes behind
and I'm going to
it.
talk about that when it comes to depression, anxiety, and stress.
Yeah.
How it's like a give and take relationship with plants, I heard.
It is like you got to be mentally there.
Okay.
And I think that's why a lot of people go through stress because their mind is all over the place. Or you're like creating a scenario that doesn't inherently exist. You know what I'm saying? You're not present. But when you're gardening, it requires presence.
Wow. We're going to talk about that coming up next. Your garden requires presence and what you give it, what you take from it. And we're going to be going deep into exactly how it reduces stress, anxiety, and depression, because that's a real thing nowadays. And Nikki will give us tips and scoops about it. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Disapora Mommy. We are with Nicole Peters. She's a health guru, a friend, an entrepreneur, and a multimedia professional here in Washington, D.C. But she's also a gardener. And from what we hear from research, gardening can reduce anxiety, stress, and depression. So why not? Even though there might be some anxiety about it, but let's hear a little bit about how it can reduce that. Nikki, when you started, you said that plants and the earth has energy. Could that be what people say it gives us so that we can calm down?
Yes, because just imagine when you go on vacation, where do you go?
Nature.
You go to nature.
Yeah.
You go to the beach. You know what I mean? You're relaxing. So I think stress and anxiety comes from the disconnect from Mother Nature. Yep. It is.
So true. Oh my God, let me digest that. It's a disconnect from Mother Nature.
Once you go back into nature, then everything just be totally aligned. You know, you're not thinking about problems. You're not thinking about issues. You just with Mother Nature, and she's just giving you everything that you need. But what happened over time? Why did we disconnect? You know, at one point, you know, I grew up with my grandmother. She was into herbs and remedies. What happened to that? You know what I'm saying? It got replaced with, you know, other things. And I'm not saying that there's not a place for modern medicine. But certain things that we go through, we should be able to heal ourselves. We should only really go to the doctor if you need like surgery.
True.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
If I need surgery, if I need a heart transplant or something. But honestly, if you're eating healthy and from the earth, you shouldn't need all those things.
Okay.
You understand?
So if you're like deeply depressed, I mean, you've been in your garden a lot and you've seen what it does to your body and to your mind. What should we do to, like, if somebody's like listening and they're like depressed and they're like, gardening is gonna take away my depression?
It is, because
it true?
What it does is most people that are depressed, they spend a lot of time alone. Okay. They isolate themselves, or they're around a lot of negative energy. You know, to me, it's like say if you watch the news 24/7, your level of energy is gonna drain. you know? It drains me because I absorb things.
Especially women. We're
Yeah,
emotional. So we process
have this
everything on an
absorbing
emotional
energy.
level, yeah?
So if I sit in my room with the blinds closed and I'm just watching social media, I'm on TV, that level of negativity is going to affect you some kind of way, right? Or it can just be issues in your family and your realm, right? But when you get outside and them sun rays hit you and that wind start to blow and you're conscious of it, so you can be in nature and not be conscious of it. But even when I'm gardening and the wind blows, I stop and I just feel the wind against my skin.
Wow.
And then I go, But it's a connection. I can't even explain the connection with the earth and human beings because it heals us. In a certain way, the herbs will heal you, certain ones. Certain ones will kill you too, but certain ones...
Good point there.
Certain ones will heal you. But I think if you get outside in nature and you're totally present, then you will see the healing that it has to offer.
Yeah, and I think for people who are in major cities, big cities, they're so disconnected to a point where
it is.
Just going to the park is the only thing they have.
Yeah, I'm serious.
And to the creeks that are in the cities.
It is.
As women, let's talk about maybe as a woman, and depression, anxiety, and stress, and we get that from so many different things, from just the time of the month, from just hormonal imbalance, menopause, premenopause. Planting and gardening is something that we can use to center ourselves.
Absolutely. You can use anything and center yourself. You can go outside and plant something, and your focus is on the soil. For me, I think depression and anxiety is self-created because the mind cannot find a focus point. It is thinking, it's going all over the place. You know what I mean? It's creating scenarios that don't exist. So I think if you can go out and focus the mind on something,
a beautiful plant.
A beautiful plant, or the earth, or it's how it nurtures us daily and what it does for us and our families and things of that nature, and just the energy of it all. It could create a soothing effect. But if you go out in your garden, right? You don't embrace life, right? And the mind is still going on something else. Or say you're rushing through it, right? You're not going to have that same effect.
True.
It's going to be the same as if you're in the house because the mind cannot be centered. You have to be present. So when I go in the garden, it's no rush.
Okay.
It's no rush. It's an easy flow. But to say, okay, I'm going to go out. I'm not going to rush it. Because that's what happened with anxiety. It's more like you're rushing. For me, because I was suffering from anxiety from menopause. So sometimes you'll find the mind just rushing before you actually do it. Like, say if I'm here sitting with you, my mind is at home cooking for my husband. You know what I'm saying? Then I have to say, okay, no, I'm here. I have to be present.
So when you were going through menopause or premenopause, you realized that those emotions were accelerated and you needed something?
Oh, they're highly accelerated.
When you go in the garden, you take like 15 minutes into the garden and that soothes you?
Yes, it does. And I have to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Hey, stop. You got to stop the mind. We as women, we have so many responsibilities that we put a lot on our plate. So yeah, so when I go in the garden, that's all I'm doing that day. That's it. I'm not rushing my mind. I'm not on the phone. I'm not on social media. I'm just sticking to my garden, and I got music. So it's,
So when you come back out of the garden, how do you feel exactly?
Accomplished. I feel like I'm going out here and I'm planting food for my family, and we will not be hungry.
Wow.
That's what I'm
saying. So
saying.
you actually get a lot of food from them that you can actually eat?
Oh, absolutely. This year is going to be, because I have expanded. This year is really big. I have a vision for it. I set up, I got at least about 6 raised beds. I got them on every angle. I have grapes growing. I have raspberries.
So what do you go to the store for, usually?
Just meat for my husband.
Really?
Yes.
So you have your fruits, your vegetables?
Yes.
And your seeds and nuts?
I do get fruit now because the fruit, I just started growing the fruit this season.
Okay.
And it takes a year to see produce, you know. So I do get that still. But hopefully by next year, like I have lemon trees, I'm serious.
Wow.
If I had more space.
You'll be just going up. And now that you have a lot more time, you're taking a little bit
Oh my goodness. What are you saying?
It's a blessing to be at home and to do spring cleaning, spring gardening.
And then when my husband calls me, he's like, "You out in the dirt?" I said, "Yes."
He doesn't do gardening.
No.
Thank you so much, Nikki. We've learned a lot to be able to just be in the garden and be present and be able to make food for your family. It's something that can really bring soothing to us. And you added an anecdote. If you're premenopausal or menopausal, this is something you can definitely do to remove that anxiety, that stress, that depression.
It is.
And she's an embodiment of that.
Thank you. One lady, she was behind me and she was like, "I've been watching you. And this is amazing." I was like, wow, you never know who you can inspire because I never thought in a million years.
You'll be that woman.
I'll be that woman, yeah. You know, one with the children. Like my niece and nephew came over and I was like, it's like I had a homestead.
Wow.
And they was like, "Oh my God, Aunt Nikki." Yeah, they loved it. Oh my goodness. They always want to come to my house.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you so much, Nikki. We're going to be having her back because like I told you, she's also an entrepreneur. She can give us some advice, some tips on how to do that as well. She's also a multimedia professional. So we're going to draw a lot from Nikki.
Yeah, I have a lot of
We're going to draw a lot from Nikki. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot about gardening, where to start, what the benefits are. So stay tuned. We hope you're going to like, share, subscribe, and comment, and share with your sisters. Okay?
That's right. Yes.
Let's stay grounded and learn from each other. Stay tuned. All right.
Yes.
So that's my conversation with Nikki, and I hope you enjoyed it. But before you go, I want to invite you to watch this video that I did a few years ago. I think it was about 2 years ago, where I was actually trying to try what we're talking about today, calming my mind, potting plants, and things like that. So take a look.